All right, it's the 11 o'clock hour of day 2 of the virtual roadshow. We have Dale back with us from Vanco, and actually we have Brandon here from Vanco, here to walk us through their EV over IP, AV over IP, distributed audio video solution. Something that we've been offering for a while now. I want to get you guys educated on it. I'll start a poll on it to kind of gauge the interest. See if you guys are using this sort of solution for your commercial applications or maybe even residential applications. So we appreciate Dale and Brandon joining us here. We're going to be raffling something off, so make sure you pay attention. I'll throw a question out there for you guys to answer. It's 11 o'clock, so if you guys are hungry, go to the food court and claim your Grubhub gift card. 50 points. Again, for being in this training. We're also going to have it recorded for you guys to view after the fact. So excited to learn a little bit more about Vanco's EV over IP distributed audio video solution. Dale, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing? How's everything
Welcome
going?
back. Welcome back.
Yeah, another day. So
Another
looking
day.
forward to it.
Another day. Why don't you go ahead and, if you can, share your screen and we'll get going.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'll start the poll here. If you guys can jump on and answer that, answer these couple of questions, we would appreciate it.
You can see that okay?
Yep, very good.
All right, perfect. So we'll get going here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our AV over IP system. We call it EVoIP, and I'll get a little bit more into that and why that is, but it's just AV over IP. And here we go. So a little bit about Vanco. We've been around for almost 70 years now. We focus on AV distribution and install products, and we are headquartered just outside of Chicago. So we ship to the entire country, obviously, but down to the southeast here, we're probably just about 2 days to get everything in, if it is not in stock already at one of your 21st century branches. Something that kind of, some of the things that set us apart a little bit. We are a single source for AV and networking products. We try to be a one-stop shop with our entire line. We only go through distribution, which is a little different than some of our competitors who offer other programs. We do offer customizable training support. So if there is something that you want to dive a little bit more into, that is something we could do, as well as the marketing support that we do offer and customize that if need be. This is a project or a picture of our testing facility upstairs in our warehouse. As you can see here, we have a bunch of different displays. We have a bunch of different sources and network switches that we try to run the product through. This way, we put it through real world solutions that we see out there. This way, if there are any problems, we can catch them here before they get out to you. Some stuff to know about Vanco. On all of our Evolution products, which covers the EVoIP products that we're going to talk about today, there is a 10-year warranty on them, as well as a lifetime warranty on our cables. All products are tested twice, once when they come in from the factory and once before they leave. Try to cut down on some of the failures that do occur. I'd like to say our stuff doesn't fail, but it is electronics. There is a chance that it does, that it may fail. So we try to cut down on that and catch any issues that we can. All of the electronics are tested in the U.S. As this facility is above our warehouse, just outside of Chicago. We do have a bunch of different brand partners, which I'll touch on a little bit later. And we do have tech support available, whether it be via phone, email, or the chat feature on our website. They are there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. So at Vanco, we do offer an extensive product range from HDMI to component to VGA. We do offer speakers, amplifiers, converters, a bunch of different cables that we need, some datacom cables, some CAT cables, networking accessories, wall plates, IR distribution. Again, try to make it a one-stop shop for you. All right, we will dig into our video over IP, EVoIP as we call it. Some of the benefits and features, we try to make it as simple as possible in our video over IP. We have two different SKUs, and it's either 1080p or 4K. The most common is going to be our 4K. It's going to give us 4K 60, 444, all the big numbers that our end users want to hear. They're spending good amount of money on these TVs. They want to make sure that they have the best picture quality that they can get. We do 4K 30 if we are doing HDR. So something to keep in mind. It is easy to use the UI either with a web browser or with the app that we do have available. The web UI is most likely going to be on your guys' side, the installer side, as it can be a little confusing to someone who doesn't know what they're looking at. The app is more on the end user side where they can drag and drop and change which source is going to which TV. The best part about that I think about our video over IP stuff is the PoE transmitters and receivers. We only have to power one side. Most of the time, this is going to be at the rack side. This way, as room gets smaller and smaller behind displays, we don't have to worry about fitting a power supply behind the TV. We can plug it in right at the rack, and we don't have to worry about anything else. It will be powered for us. Some of the features of our video over IP is scheduled switching, and I'm going to dive a little bit more into these as we go along here. A video wall capability, the on-screen overlay or on-screen display, which will give us the ability to do custom screen messages or any images that we would like to put over the source that's being played. Automated notifications, so we can get alerts from the system if something were to go down or something's not working correctly. We can get email notifications on that. Local and remote access, going to give us the ability to have you guys go into the project or go into the system without having to be on site. That saves you guys money, could potentially save you a headache of rather than rolling a truck out to the job site. We can just look at it remotely and see what's going on, see if it's something we can fix before heading out to a job site. We also do have drivers for third-party control systems, as you can see here, Control4, URC, RTI, Crestron, all the big players. Since we don't offer a control system ourselves, we are agnostic with all of the big players out there. And all of those drivers are located right on our website, so easy to find and download. Here is some of the hardware that we would be needing for a project. As you can see on the left-hand side here, we do have the transmitter. There's the SKU number, the IPTX1. Again, it is PoE. It does come with an HDMI loop out if we do have a local screen in a rack. I know sometimes that's preferred so that we can see everything that's going on locally without having to take up another display in the system. It does have RS-232, bi-directional IR, and we do have the ability to break out audio right there at the source, which most of the time we are doing, especially in the commercial side of things. The receiver, again, PoE, RS-232, has that IR if we aren't going to use a third-party control system and just wanted to use IR, we can do that as well. And also have that ability to break out the audio at the receiver end as well. The big piece to remember is the controller, the EVoIP CTL1. This is the brains of the operation. We are going to need one of these for every system that we do, no matter how many units that we have. I believe it does have a limit of 2,000 units. I've never come across a project that gets there. If we do go over that, we just throw another controller on there. But basically, this just talks back and forth between the network switch, the transmitter and receiver, and allows everything to operate smoothly. So we will need one of those as well. I did talk a little bit about the 1080p solution for EVoIP. obviously, because it is 1080p, it's going to bring that price point down a little bit. So if we don't need that full 4K, something to keep in mind that we can offer this. This is a single unit that can either be a TX or RX. So we have to choose which mode we would like it in. It does come with that bi-directional IR as well as our RS-232. Again, we can break out the audio at this piece, and it is PoE. So it has all the same functionalities as the 4K, just that different video quality.
You're still using the same controller, correct?
Yep, still the same controller. Nothing
One
else
controller.
changes. Still the same network switch. Just your video quality is going to change.
Okay.
The rack shelf. This is a separate SKU. It does not come with the units, so it is something that would need to be on the PO as well. But it is a universal rack shelf to hold everything that you need it to hold. It comes with shelf and 4 mounting brackets. The beauty of this is this is a sliding shelf, so we can change the sizes. So it doesn't necessarily just fit our EVoIP, but it also fits some of our other equipment as well. It is not a fixed size for the units to slide into, which makes it really nice. If we don't fill this whole rack shelf out with EVoIP stuff, we can still throw a splitter or another transmitter from an extender in there, something along those lines. It will still fit in there. And here are the SKUs for it. And if you needed more mounting brackets, we also have the ability to send those out as well. Here are some of the network switches that we are partnered with: Luxel, Netgear, which I believe both go through 21st. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys, but I believe you guys have access to both of those.
And Ubiquity, correct.
And Ubiquity. Okay, perfect. So those are the 3 main ones. There is Cisco, TrendNet, Arachnus. There's a bunch of different. We do have an entire list on our website. There are some features on network switches that need to be activated that we'll go through to make sure that it will work. Otherwise, if we don't have those settings set or are using the wrong switch, we basically just have an expensive extender solution. And here are those requirements. The switch needs to be a multicast or multi-layer, level 2 or 3. Jumbo frames needs to be activated. IGMP snooping. 1 gig switch will do fine for 90% of the projects, but we can use 10K or 10 gig switches if we are doing 6 or more 4K sources. The good news is there's not a lot of true 4K sources out there, so 1 gig switches should be able to cover most of the projects that are being done out there, and from what we've seen. So here's a little bit of the user interface that we would see. There's multiple ways to access the UI using the HDMI output of the control box. You can scan the UR code. You can enter the IP address. So that will give us the ability to get into the system. The TX and RX are auto-discovered, so it's automatically going to pull up everything that's plugged into the system, which is nice and helps cut down on some of the confusion and programming, everything like that. It will automatically pull up everything that is plugged in for us. On the web UI, the first tab we will see is the matrix mode. And as you can see here, this is a little demo of what it may look like for you. So the top 3 here you will see are going to be the displays. So after we name the displays, we will see them all up here. On the bottom, you see the sources. So if we just have, Netflix and a computer, it's going to show those sources for us. Now what we can do is drag and drop those sources to go from to any display that is on the network with those receivers. So it gives us that true matrixing ability. Real-time snapshot on the sources and displays. So it's going to show you what is what is playing on those TVs, as well as what's playing through the sources before you decide to change, just to make sure that you are choosing the correct thing to send to each display. You can also mute any source or display to stop sending the signal. So if we want to, rather than turning the TV off, we just want to stop sending signal, we have that capability as well. And then we also have available presets for source to display mapping, so we can do it that way as well. The video wall mode, when we're setting up a video wall here, and I'll go through it here a little bit. We can do up to a 25 display video wall, which gives us a 5x5. So as you can see up here, we would name the video wall, then we would choose the layout. Once we hit update, it will automatically show up on there what the layout is going to look like. Now on the right-hand side over here, we will see our two sources. So now we would drag and drop those sources to the displays that we want them to go to. Can't be too much more simple than that. Makes it super easy to just type in what our layout is and then drag and drop our sources right to the displays. We also have presets, so we can save this video wall layout if we want to. If it's something we're going to be changing back and forth from having 25 separate pictures to one video wall, we can save that video wall and then just turn it on at any point, and it will go back to those presets that we had set up. Bezel adjustment and ability to turn and flip displays. This is big, probably more on the residential side of things. When they, sometimes an end user doesn't want to pay necessarily for the commercial displays. They can be a little expensive. So if they do have a residential display and we have that, little IR bubble down at the bottom, we can flip those TVs around and compensate for that with the bezel adjustment. That will not be a problem.
Hey Dale, this is all done obviously through the software. You don't need additional.
Nope. So this is going to all be done right through the web UI. Once you log into the web UI or get into the web UI, it's going to look exactly like this. As you can see on this right here, when you log into the web UI, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to give you all these options on the side, and it's just different tabs that you're going to set up each one of those. No additional equipment needed, just a laptop to be able to get into it.
Okay.
The on-screen display that we talked about a little bit earlier, this is great for digital signage. In the commercial side of things, sometimes they want to have the restaurant logo or whatever the case may be. We are able to overlay that onto whatever picture may be on the TV, and we don't have to worry about taking up an entire display just to show the restaurant logo. We can add it in the corner. We can add it to one display. We can add it to all displays if we like. We are able to do, to change the color, the size, where it's located, and the transparency. So if we want it super, super light and, basically kind of just a watermark in the corner, we can do that. If we want to have it big and bright and red, we can do that as well. It all kind of depends on what the end user is going to want to show on that. And again, we can have that on one screen. We can have that on every screen. It's entirely up to them. The schedule tab. So this is another tab on that web UI for us to go to. What we can use this for is now we can schedule TVs to come on and off. We can, to send sources to different displays at different times. So the best example would be, on a Saturday at noon, when the college football games start coming on, we can now say, okay, we want this source sent to this display or to these displays every Saturday at 12 o'clock. This way the games come on those TVs immediately, and we don't have to worry about going through and manually changing them, whether it be in the app or the web UI or the control system. It will just do it every Saturday for us. So this is a great tool for on that commercial side of things, especially those restaurant owners necessarily don't give the training to the bar staff or the wait staff that they may need to use this. It kind of takes it out of their hands and makes it very simple for them to be able to use. The event tab. So as you can see here, right under the scheduling tab, we can set up to be alerted, whether it be a text or an email, whenever a transmitter or receiver loses signal. This is something that I talked about a little bit in the beginning. What it will give us the ability to do is now you guys get an alert that something is going on with the system. You can hop in the web UI and try to figure it out before you necessarily roll a truck out there. It'll give you a little chance to troubleshoot it. Now, you may not get too much detail of what's going on. Just going to say that it loses signal, but we can kind of go through our troubleshooting steps before necessarily we get out there, whether it be, an HDMI cable may have come loose, something like that, something somebody there could fix before you guys go out there. But it gives you that ability to see that before going out there. The access tab. So this will control which source can be sent to which display. More for the security side of things. Kind of if we don't want certain feeds sent to certain displays for everyone to see, this is where we would set that up to say, okay, this source can only be sent to the TV in the manager's office. This way they can see everything, but doesn't want the entire staff or entire team to be able to see what's going on the cameras. This is where we can also set up parental control. So who has access to what. We can set that all up in here. We can limit who can see what and who can access the entire system as well. The log tab. So this is going to show events that occur within the system. As you can see here, this is a little sample of what may be going on. Somebody logs in to access it. It's going to show that. Any switching that happens, it's gonna show stuff like that. So it's a great log for us to be able to see and troubleshoot. And as you can see here up at the top, event, schedule, action, log in or log out, we can filter it to see, okay, we just want to see the schedules and make sure that they're working correctly. Maybe one time it didn't automatically switch to the games. We can now go in there and see, okay, did it log it and something's wrong, or maybe we just didn't set it up correctly. It makes it easier for us to troubleshoot any issues that may be going on and kind of gives us a track record of everything that's been happening in the system.
All right, Dale, let me stop you real quick.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do something exciting here right now. Anybody out there that thinks they can utilize this type of solution for a future project, if you have something in mind, think, oh yeah, maybe I could put some EVoIP in that restaurant or that commercial space or that home. Just type in the chat 2-1 for 21st century. Just type in 2-1. We have a handful of controllers we want to send to you to start putting these in your future projects. If this is something that you think you could implement to a new project, put in 2-1, and we will get you a controller. I don't know if we can send it to everybody, but just type it in. We're going to send a handful out to some lucky winners. So go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, no problem. That sounds awesome. The end user interface. So this is something we can do with the access tab and kind of limit what they can see, like we had talked about. So this is an example of what it may look like to maybe a bar manager or a system manager, something along those lines. This is the limited access they would have. They would have the matrixing side of things where they can drag and drop. They would have the video wall if they want to turn that video wall section on and off, they will have that availability, or even change, which source is going to that video wall. They can do the on-screen display, and they can schedule the events. That's all of the access they will have. They won't be able to see the log. They won't be able to do really anything else, but this is perfect for the end user side of things. This way they can't change any of the settings that we have, and create some headaches for you guys going forward, saying, oh, I accidentally changed, X, Y, and Z setting. They wouldn't have access to that. You can control EVoIP with voice command using Amazon, with your Alexa. So that's another great piece on the residential side of things, is to just be able to hook that up to the Alexa and be able to change things that way. Here's an example of some of the EVoIP setups that we have done. As you can see here, we do have some video walls, some single TVs, multiple displays throughout the building. As you can see in the top right corner, what's that? It's a 3x3, so 9 TVs into a video wall. The best part about that is we can turn that off and have 9 individual pictures going on there all at once. You may ask, what is the benefit of using an EVoIP compared to a matrix or just extender set? The biggest benefit of it is that we are now not contained to the fixed inputs and outputs of a matrix solution. If we do an 8x8 matrix, great, that's a lot of sources and a lot of TVs. But if they ever add another TV or add another source, we can't use that matrix anymore. So this gives us the ability to have, okay, they have 4 sources and 12 TVs. Rather than having to run a bunch of splitters off of a matrix and kind of daisy chain a bunch of things, this is the best solution for it, to be able to say, okay, I only need 4 transmitters, 12 receivers, a control box, and my network switch, and they're good to go. So it makes it really nice to have that true customizable solution for the end user. That is everything I have on it. I'm sure we have, I'm sure we have some questions that have popped up that I'd love to answer.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of these answered, and I think we definitely have a lot of interest here. So I like that. I will reach out to everybody that put in the 2-1 in the chat. I have everybody's email addresses, so we will be reaching out to you guys to get you a controller. And why don't you also, Dale, maybe touch on the project registration, if you can. If you could maybe even put up that website.
Yes,
I can walk them through that.
I actually have it right here. Let me share my screen. Let me see. Pull up the wrong one for you. All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So this is our project registration form. As you can see, everything would go through 21st Century. They'd put their information on the left, your information on the right. Our part numbers, so our SKUs that we'd be using for the video over IP, and then the quantity. What this will give us the ability to do is now we are registering this project. So if the end user ever goes out and tries to bid you against another installer and comes back to us with it, the project will already be registered. We don't have to worry about another installer undercutting you. It also makes sure that we have the product in stock. If we see this has been registered and maybe we're a little low on product, we'll bring some in for you to make sure that once this project is getting ready to hit, we have the product for you. We just ask for, just a brief overview of the project, when we think it'll be delivered and when we think it'll be started. This gives us the ability to follow up with you. As well as answer any questions you may have, or once the project is completed, potentially doing a showcase on it or a case study, depending on what the project is. It's a great way for you guys to register that with us.
Well, thank you, Dale. I think let me go through to make sure. I mean, Brandon did a great job of answering all the questions. He was very busy.
I
We
bet.
will. What we'll do is we'll reach out to you guys individually about getting you a controller. Dale, probably you and I will get together and
Yep.
talk about some of those projects. It's great. I mean, Dale does a fantastic job of helping with system design. We try to make this not as daunting as it seems. It's really not. I mean, you're just talking about a few pieces and a switch
Yep.
to utilize. So we could help with system design. Our guys here at 21st Century, Dale, like I said, Dale does a fantastic job of that. So we will reach out to you guys, especially the ones that are interested, who typed in 2-1 into the Q&A. Dale, really appreciate it. This is a good time too, a little early because you guys have time to grab lunch. And we really appreciate it. And make sure you grab your Grubhub gift card, and you can view this after the fact on our virtual conference center for the recorded training for another 20 points. So thank you so much, Dale and Brandon, for your time, and we'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Thank you so much.